Hey guys, come on in. How's everybody doing today? Happy Saturday. I had some time today to work on, we're going to make some pretty necessary changes to our game Father, or whatever it's called. We're still renaming it, and you guys are helping me with that. But we're going to make some, floors and platforms that shift and change and rotate. We've been working on this all week, so I'm really excited to have you guys join us. This is going to be a fun live stream. And by the way, guys, I did want to let you know, just FYI, for those of you who are interested, we've got 3 days and 18 hours left to join the Black Friday sale event for full-time game dev, which is my massive program. It's 50% off. You're also going to get 2D Art Pro and 3D Art Pro totally totally free. And these names are self-explanatory, right? Full-time game dev is going to teach you how to make 2D and 3D games and how to create a sustainable studio. That includes finding funding and publishers and Kickstarter and how to hit the Steam front page and make enough money to go full-time, right? 2D Art Pro and 3D Art Pro are going to teach you all of my tricks and my team's tricks. And that includes Felipe, who does the 3D art for Father, and how to make 2D and 3D art for your games. It's a really great program, and I can honestly say that because my students, at least 2 recently, reached out and told me about how they went full-time. Lord Grimm, this is Mist Cloud Games. You can find them on Twitter. It's a real person. Went full-time, and it's all because of the course. And Chris as well. Chris at Squid Shot Games raised over $150,000 on Kickstarter. So basically, you're going to learn everything I've learned in the last decade. There's probably 40 seats left. I think it's about 40. These are going to sell out. Time's a ticking. It is one of the biggest sale events we have during the year. So click the link below to get started. All right, guys, let's jump inside of Unity and let's go. By the way, guys, feel free to download my free 2D game kit below. It's totally free. It's my treat to you. I used this exact 2D game kit to make a game for PewDiePie in 14 days, and then I got to play it in front of his subscribers, which was really awesome. So download that. Use it however you want. It's my treat to you. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, here's what we've got. Remember, for those of you who weren't here yesterday, I'll give you a sort of a refresher of what we're working on, okay? I'm in my elevator. We open up the floor, and this is our sandbox scene, okay? We have a bunch of moving objects, right? And Gordon, this might surprise you. Gordon is one of my interns. Gordon's in the chat. Hey, Gordon, how you doing, buddy? Gordon's also working on this game, so round of applause to Gordon for helping out. He's doing a lot of the QA stuff, helping solve a lot of glitches and whatnot. So we've got a bunch of rotating objects. I'm really excited about this piece because yesterday what we accomplished was, if we're going to have objects like this rotating, like this hallway, we don't want these edges to clip into things, right? Well, they're going to clip into walls if you don't have this sort of, it's like what you'd see getting onto a plane. See this? It's an accordion that will stretch because this corner here will clip into things. So that's why we have these accordions. So it's a pretty, I told Felipe, I said, dude, we're basically just engineers because you really have to think about these things as you're creating a constantly rotating world. The same is true with this. This isn't just a flourish here. This is absolutely necessary. In order to have things rotate, we also had to connect them to a central point here, because we want it to rotate around this pivot here. So we had to create this dial to indicate that, right? Also, if we don't elevate the stairs a little bit, they'll clip into the ground, right? So that's why we've created all these different dials here. So oddly, creating an ever-changing hotel means that you have to think like an engineer, right? How would you actually do this? So anyway, we've also got this platform here, this rotating hallway. And so what we want to do today is we have a really cool list of things. By the way, let's go ahead and I think we have a point light in this scene. It's super dark in here. So let's see if we can brighten it up, because I can't see a thing. Here we go. There we go. Nice and bright now, okay? So far, pretty cool, right? We've got a really cool looking sequence of rotating objects. Well, one of the big problems we have that I want to work on today is if I hit play here, let me turn down the volume so you guys don't blow out your eardrums. Let's hit play here. One of the big problems we have is this clock ticking. It ticks it's a chime every 5 seconds. It's cool, right? But it gets annoying. It gets annoying. So I want to remove it and rather have a sound play whenever an object moves, but only if you're near it, okay? So how are we going to do that? Well, the first thing I want is a sound, okay? I just want a rotating sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into artlist.io. Sorry, guys. Got a little residual. I've had a cold like all year. The family's just been constantly sick. But let's head on over to artlist.io. And we're going to type in earthquake. Okay? The reason we're going to use an earthquake is we just need a rumbling rock sound. Okay? There we go. That's perfect. Hey Hector, how you doing, man? Why aren't you playing God of War right now? Guys, Hector is the well, Hector does a lot of things for me. Hector is my PA, so he's the one who answers a lot of emails. Most of my emails he answers. He does all of my social media content. He also helps with a lot of the sounds for this game. He also mastered the audio for my short horror film Unlocking, which comes out in a week. Congratulations to Hector. And by the way, Hector, I don't think I told you this in person, but we premiered the short horror film at a movie theater here in my hometown. And the audio was amazing. It was so good. So you did an incredible job. Hector's brilliant with sound. Jack of all trades, that's right. Okay, here we go. What do you think about that? Okay, so the way we create a loop in my world, because a lot of you use a different... Hector, what was that audio program you were recommending I use to create like loopable sounds and stuff? It's probably a better way to do things, but what I do is I will reverse the sound. Frickin' Audacity changed everything here. There we go, reverse, fade in, and we're at -3, -3. So this is how I create a loopable sound. Track, mix and render. So this will loop. All right, so we just want to go between -2, -12, and -6. We're going to export this, and what we're going to call this is we're going to head on over to our project here. Thomas, come on. And we're going to save it in our father folder, and we're just going to save it as sounds. Moving, actually, let's do clock object move loop. So it's just a looping move sound. That's all we want. We're going to use it across the board, okay? Let's just start with the orange objects here. Actually, let's start with the clock object. The clock object is the thing making that sound every 5 seconds, and we don't want that, okay? So believe it or not, we can actually just remove the audio source entirely from this, and we can open up the clock controller script and remove any sort of sound that's playing. So we don't need the audio source or the audio clip. We're going to remove this, okay? And now we're going to go to this function that's being fired. It is firing this inside of each individual clock object. A clock object, I'm just naming them clock objects. They're just things that move every 5 seconds. And they're controlled by this parent clock. It's just an abstract clock. And so now we're going to play this sound whenever we move directions. Okay? So I'm going to just right here, I'm going to say, look, audio source dot play one shot move sound. Okay? And really we shouldn't be doing that. We should actually just be saying play. Okay? Because, and I'm going to fix this in a sec. And because we're going to stop it here. Because it's a looping sound, right? It's not just one single sound. It's a looping sound. So we're going to stop it. But this is incorrect here. We need it to actually be a variable that we create here. So it's audio source. And let's go ahead and serialize it. It doesn't need to be public, but we do want it to be visible in the inspector. And that's why you serialize it, okay? All right. So now, lowercase a, play, and then stop. Play, and then stop. That's all we're doing, okay? So what does that mean? Now it's going to play the audio source. So we're going to go to the audio source for each individual object. And me and Felipe have been very precise. We're going to ignore this one for now. Let's just hide it because it's driving me nuts. Just the yellow ones here, okay? We're going to go inside of each one, and we're going to create an audio source inside of each one. There's one. It's going to have that looping sound, right? Remember, it's going to be the clock object, move, loop, right? There we go. And guys, if you have any questions for Hector or Gordon, ask away. Hector and Gordon both work for me. Gordon is an intern, and Hector is my PA. He helps manage the course. He does sounds. He does social media. So he's, Hector does a lot of stuff. He's been here. Hector is OG, honestly. Hector's been with me for, how long has it been, dude? I think maybe 2 or 3 years. A long time. We're not going to have it play on Awake. We're going to copy this. And then we're going to also say, look, on start, we're just going to say if get component audio source. So it's going to look for an audio source in the object. If it finds one, then hey, let's say that the audio source is our audio source. Why are we doing this? Because using get component over and over and over again is redundant and it's expensive. So we need to create that reference here so that we can use this all over the place. Okay? All right, so now we don't have to drag that into the inspector. It'll just find it on start, right? So now I could just copy this audio source and I could just paste it onto everything, right? And if I hit select here, you'll see we actually have them all right here. So I can just paste them all. Right there. Good. Right there. Actually, we have a problem here. What we need to do is go inside of here and we need to make that audio source 3D. There we go, 3D. And I can pretty much guess that I want it to be something like 30, maybe 50. I want it to be linear, but the problem with linear is it's not smooth. So we'll smooth it a little bit here. Okay, so now we have this linear roll off. That means that if we walk away by a total of 50 units, it will go to 0. Okay, I think probably 30 is probably the best bet. I'm going to take a gamble here. I'm going to commit to that and paste this on every single one. Okay, so let's select all of them. And here's the thing, guys. Paste component. Paste component values, good. Paste component values, good. Paste component values, good. Paste component as new, because we hadn't pasted these yet. So all we're doing is pasting these audio sources onto every single one of these objects. And what this means is that that audio is going to play when they rotate. And when I walk towards, say, the plus here, this little plus icon, or these squares, I'll hear that as they move. That's the goal here. Paste component is new. Sure, let's do it. Well, what's going on here? Yeah, paste component values, and then paste component values. All right, you guys ready to test it out? All right, here we go. Hamza Art, thank you very much. Hamza says this is a great hook for a game. I'll take a little bit of credit for wanting it to be ever changing, but the person who came up with the idea that it moves every 5 seconds or every 10 seconds is Gavin from Choo Choo Charles. Nice. Okay, let's see if we can hear it here. Good. Okay, we also have another problem, guys. Those, like if we had, let's say we had 30 audio sources, right? Would we want them to play if I wasn't even near them? No, we wouldn't. So we need to have we need to check. Here's the thing. We need to check. Is the player near it, right? So we're going to create a new vector 3, and we're going to call this, let's just put it here. Distance from player equals game manager dot player controller dot transform dot position minus transform dot position. But it needs to be the normalized, right? So what do we say? We say math f dot, or is it the magnitude? It's the magnitude. Can we do this? Dot magnitude? I have my doubts, but we'll try that. Yeah, we can't do that. How do you find the magnitude of a value again? I can't remember. Distance from player equals distance from player dot magnitude. Yeah, we can do it that way. Oh, why can't we do that? Oh, because it's a float. Yes. So this just needs to be a float. That's all we got to do. So what is the magnitude doing, guys? Well, it's taking two floats, finding the distance between them, the range. So you subtract the 2, and then you find the magnitude. What the magnitude does is it basically finds the hypotenuse, right? It's basically a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I think that's basically what magnitude is. I may be incorrect here, but we're trying to find the distance from an object. Why are we doing that? So that we could say, look, if distance from player is smaller than or equal to the audio source dot, what is it? Drop off? Or max distance? If it's smaller than or equal to max distance, then go ahead and play it. But there's no reason to play it. There's no reason to do this whole, like 30 objects are playing a sound when they're all at 0 volume. That's ridiculous. And then we're going to say, look, if audio source, for down here, we're going to say, look, if the audio source is playing, yeah, sure, go ahead and stop it. But there's no reason to stop something that's not playing. And by the way, guys, if you haven't, sorry, one sec. Vector 3 dot distance. Yeah, there's that too. Yep, Gavin, we're giving you a little bit of shout out here. Guys, Gavin is in the chat. Gavin is the creator of Choo Choo Charles, aka, like, I would call him the Elon Musk. Although maybe you don't like that, but I would call him the Elon Musk of game dev because I think he's that smart. He's just very brilliant. He's the creator of Choo Choo Charles. Very, very smart. If you haven't wishlisted Choo Choo Charles, head on over to Steam. Don't leave the video. Open a new tab. Head on over to Steam and wishlist Choo Choo Charles. I'm not that generous, Gavin. Don't take away from my views. Head on over to Steam and wishlist. But Gavin, what we're doing here is we're implementing, well, your idea. I'm doing my best here. We've got a lot of rotating objects. This is the sandbox scene where we're just testing out all of the different objects, and I think it's turning out pretty cool. And by the way, Gavin, if you've got any more ideas, reach out to me on Discord and let me know if this is, I don't know, a cool idea to you. 2-star games. All right, so let's also do a random pitch. Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, look, because what happens when you play 3 or 4 sounds on top of one another? they're all going to sound the same, and it's going to create this weird reverby effect. We don't want that, right? It's kind of like two people singing out of pitch, like next to each other. It sounds really bad. That's kind of what it sounds like, especially when you've got like a Doppler effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to say audio source. If the audio source exists, then go ahead and change the pitch. The pitch equals random.range. What do we want to do? 0.5 and 1.3. Okay. That's a pretty broad range, but we'll see how it sounds. All right, here we go. Okay, ready? Here we go. Okay. Awesome. What about this one? Don't worry, guys. We'll have a stop sound. Okay, good. We've got some weird occlusion happening or something. Let's bake the occlusion. Good. Okay, guys. So that sounds great. Now, we need a stop and start sound, right? I believe we have a stop sound. Hotel rotate stop. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and cut them a little bit to about right here. And we're going to make it a little higher pitched. And it sounds a little weird. So maybe 20. I don't like it. It's not, well, let's think here. That's fine with me. Export, wave, and this is going to be clock object stop. Okay? And then we'll also get the start. No, this one. This was good. This is going to be the start. Fade out. And we'll do a little bit of higher pitch, okay? Just a little bit higher, not 20, but maybe like 12. So the start sound is a little bit different than the stop sound. That's good. Export as wave, clock object, start. All right. By the way, guys, I wanted to give you a little bit of a lesson. There's nothing new under the sun. Who knows what that's from? Where does that quote come from? Does anybody know? Gordon, you should probably know this. There's nothing new under the sun. Who knows what that is? And don't Google it. That's right. Crosscoder got it. Ecclesiastes. It's a great book, by the way. Even if you're not religious, you should read it. It's very, very good. But Ecclesiastes, it says this a lot, which is there's nothing new under the sun, meaning there's nothing really new, right? You're always sort of repurposing what's already been made. Even like new technology, it's kind of basically just a revisiting of something that's already been made, right? In this case, we're actually looking at a concept that isn't that unique. I mean, it is, but like it's in Harry Potter, but it's also in Dishonored 2. There's a level called, I think, the Clock Mansion, Clockwork Mansion. So I mean, it's there's really there's not a lot new under the sun, and I used to care, and maybe you guys cared a lot when you started making games. You wanted to have a completely unique idea. But at the end of the day, it's really, really hard unless you're Notch, and even Notch hasn't really made a unique idea since Minecraft. And is Minecraft actually that unique? Not really. It's just Legos. So it's just Legos in video game form. I mean, it is unique, obviously, but you know what I mean. So I'm not going to worry about things being too unique anymore. As long as it's a good hook, I don't care if it's not unique. It's a good hook. And that's what Gavin was really helpful with. Okay, so we're going to create a new audio clip, and it's going to be start sound, and then we'll have an end sound, okay? And we'll just play those, okay? What we'll do is we'll say audio source. Come on, where are you? There we go. Audio source dot play one shot. Come on, Thomas. Play one shot. Start sound. And then we'll do an end sound. In this case, only if the audio is playing. Yeah, correct. Okay, great. So there's a start sound and a stop sound. So now we're going to have a rotating looping sound, and then also it'll go, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of these. And because they all share the same parameters here, we can actually just drag in the sounds onto each one, okay? So what was it called, remember? Clock object, start, and then stop. And it's going to apply to every single one of these objects. End sound is wrong. Thank you. Thank you, Kojima. The idea is everything. That's what Funky Sloth says. And I really, really agree. Now, guys, can you make enough money as a full-time game developer with a mediocre idea? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Here's the poll. Can you make enough money with an indie game to live full-time with a mediocre game? 1 is yes, 2 is no. Awesome. It works. And yes, you guys are correct. The answer is 1. I've made 2 what I would call mediocre games. By mediocre, I just mean they didn't go gangbusters, right? They were just like, no, they're good games. I think Pinstripe has made over $500,000, and Neversong, it may be over $1 million, but it may be approaching. And this is from a variety of sources, right? Console, Steam, Kickstarter, partnering with Apple, partnering with platforms, Humble Bundle, all of it combined into total sales. And yeah, they're mediocre games. And I don't think the ideas were that very good. Honestly, they're not good ideas. They were good stories, but they weren't good games. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And I could be dead wrong about my approach, you know. Man, I just want to bake this lighting so bad because it's so flickery. Frickin' Unity, right? Oh, you can't have real-time lighting. Anyway, guys, that sounded great, didn't it? Everything is making a sound. That's what we wanted, right? So we're good there. Don't need to do anything there. Let's open up our notepad here and cross that off of our list. So we changed the clock controller sound to not be global. Good. Ensure the player plays a sound when the camera shifts to show a rotating object. Okay, so what do I mean here? Well, this one is blue. Why is it blue? Because I can control it with the lever. So blue objects I can control. Okay, that's one really cool mechanic, but I don't like that blue color. This is from Sloth. Hey man, I appreciate you. You've been motivational over the last few years working on my game. Thank you for your words from the bottom of my heart. Aw, you bet. Thanks for your kind words. That was very nice. Come on, Photoshop, what are you freaking doing? Should the color of the user-controlled object match the... Yes. So Kojima asked a great question, and this is because Kojima sounds like, well, it sounds like they're smart when it comes to game design. He's like, hey, this blue should match the blue here, and that's red. And I'm like, absolutely, totally 100%. That's just a good principle in game design. You want to be over-communicative to the player. Problem is, that's really what Felipe's going to be doing. I kind of want him to be yellow. I like that. Oh, but that's yellow. Oh, man. Sorry, I'm such a control freak when it comes to color. I want it to be perfect. But yeah, Felipe's going to do that. He's going to do a new mesh for this plate, and it's going to have like stripes on it. So we'll have that next week. I don't like that color. Does it need to be navy blue? That looks a lot better. Yep. I didn't think that would be the color, but that's great. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is test this out. You guys ready? Now let's double check something here. User controlled object, good. It's controlled by the user, good. What about this? That's all. Is crank show camera. I'm gonna go ahead and looks like the spatial blend. Ah, yes. Sorry guys, one sec here. Let's hit play here. Take a look. So basically, we're just double checking something here, which is when I rotate this manually with this lever, I should hear it play when the camera shifts. So let's see if it works. Nope. By the way, that's the wrong one. It's this here. Yeah. So let's drag that in and hit play. Dream Badger says the accordion thing is genius. Guys, there's two types of people, okay? Let's ask let's poll the audience. Who's the best team leader? The one who has the best ideas, or the one who knows how to find the people with the best ideas? Number one is the person who has the best ideas. Let's change the poll. One is the person who has the best ideas. Number two is the person who knows a good idea. When he hears a good idea, he knows it's a good idea. Number one or number two? Good. And who knows why? Somebody explain why that's the case. Why not Thomas just have great ideas? Why does it matter that instead I'm really good at hearing good ideas? Who knows why? And it's purely mathematical. Son of a bee. Okay, let's move the camera here. Yes, okay, here we go. So we'll position the camera right about here. Control Shift F, and there we go. There it is. And let's hit play. Yep, more brains are bigger than one brain. That's right. So you're basically quadruple the good ideas you're gonna have. And the reason I say that is because those accordions, that's Felipe. The moving objects, that's Gavin, right? The style of the game, that's Thomas. But ideas, I'm an idea whore, or whatever you want to call it. I just take ideas from people. Where's the freaking oh, I didn't do it right. Obviously with their permission. I'll ask them their advice, or I'll say, hey Gavin, what do you think about this? And Gavin will say, what if you do this? Or Felipe will say, hey, what about this? And I'll say, that's a great idea, and then I'll implement it. So it's really important to listen for good ideas. And I didn't do that for my previous two games, I'll be honest with you. Okay, let's try this out. Okay, if I press E, okay, I can't hear it. I can't hear it. So what we want to do is we want to create a new variable, okay? And what we're going to do here, by the way, we should be able to hear this one. Yeah, so what we want this to do is we want to change the max distance. No, we want to make the spatial blend 2D. Okay? So let's just test this out really quick. If I make it 2D, will I hear it when the camera observes it. If it does, then that's all we got to do. We just need to change it to 2D while it's rotating. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do, now obviously we could just change it to 2D by default, but what if I want some that are can move and then also move with the user as well? So they're automated, but they also are when the user moves them. So we wouldn't want the spatial blend to be 2D all the time. So what we're going to do is go into our lever script, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new variable, public audio source, and we're going to call this 3D audio source. I really kind of wish Iron Gate, public audio source, moving object audio source, good. And I'm going to say this is an optional audio source that allows me to hear the moving object, okay? And then what we're going to do is go down here, and we're going to say, yes, right here. If moving object audio source exists, moving object audio source dot. Oh, you know what we should do? Let's think here. What do we want to do here? Clock object. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. We want to go, if clock objects exists, then we're going to say clock object dot audio source dot spatial blend equals 0. That just turns it to 2D. Okay. Alrighty. So for some reason that's not working. Why? Because it's not public. Make it public. Good, good, good. Where is it? Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? There it is. Good, good, good. If clock object exists, make the spatial blend 0. And when we set it back to 1 right here. There we go. Or right here as well. Very, very cool. That should do it. Right? We don't need this. And then we should be good to go. That'll do it. Hello, hello, Anders Edge. I think I'm saying that right. Anders Edge. I think at this point you're like, Thomas, why can't you get my name right? Okay, Andrew. I have to say it like 5 times. Andrew. Congratulations to Andrew, who's editing one of my videos for me. Andrew, let's give you a mod status. Do you want one? Congratulations to Andrew for mod status, because he is doing some work for me. So thank you, thank you. Yeah. All right. Let's see if this works, guys. You ready to check it out? And by the way, Andrew is a student of mine as well at Full-Time Game Dev. I'm not going to ask your opinion, Andrew, of the review because it'll sound like I just bought it, so I'm not going to ask. But Andrew is a student of mine. That's how I met him. And if you want to join Full-Time Game Dev, guys, click the link below. If you are a student that I'm not paying currently, I'm only paying one, and that's Andrew, to do editing for me for video work. But if you are a student, let us know in the chat what you think about the program. And for those of you who are curious, click the link below. It's 50% off for 4 more days, and you're also going to get 2D Art Pro and 3D Art Pro, which, by the way, Gordon helped edit 3D Art Pro and 2D Art Pro. And Hector helped put together the programs. They're awesome programs. They're going to take you a couple months to finish. They're huge. Some people ask why they're premium priced. Well, it's because they're basically like a college course. That's why. They're really that good. And I can say that honestly because I have 3,500 students who love the program. All right, let's go. Good. I feel like we should have a delay. Don't you guys agree? We should have a wait time. So I'm gonna actually do can I do one here? Can I do a wait here? I have this feeling that I can't, but maybe I can. Yield that wait 4 seconds. We're gonna do 0.5 seconds, and then flip the switch. Oh, no, this right here. So if it is a crank, flip it. Bruh is a new student. Congratulations, bruh. And bruh, obviously, thank you so much for supporting the channel. It means the world to me. A lot of people don't know this, but traditionally, I supported myself just with game sales. But now that I have a big team, if I don't want to work with a publisher and get funding from a publisher, when you guys become students, a lot of people are like, why does Thomas promote his course on his channel? It's because it actually pays for this game. So it's really cool. Like, I really appreciate it. So that's why I'm able to pay a team to work on this game. So thank you guys for your support. Okay. So we're going to have it wait, guys. We're going to press the lever, camera shifts, wait 0.5 seconds, and then it turns. All right. The reason we want that is we want to see it still first to know that we actually did something. This is actually one of those situations where game feel is actually the opposite of what you'd expect. Usually with game feel, it's like if I squeeze this bottle, it makes a sound, right? Boom, right? But in this case, we actually want there to be a delay because otherwise the player is going to think, oh, that platform is already rotating. Here we go. Let's take a look. Nope, that didn't work. It didn't work. Who knows why that didn't work? If I made it 3 seconds, why wouldn't it work? That was weird. I didn't expect that to happen. Huh. I don't know. That was really, really weird. Oh, yeah. Valma asks a really important question. Are we going to have hotel elements, or is it just going to look like a Mario game? Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be totally hotel themed. It's going to be creepy hotel in a storm. But we're going to have these silly, like if Joker owned a hotel, that's what this is, right? Here we go. Okay, I think I understand what's going on. I don't like it. So what we're going to do is, this is what we need to do, guys, unfortunately. We need to go into this script here and create an IEnumerator. Ugh, I don't like it. Yeah, sadly. Yeah, this needs to be an IEnumerator. Ugh, I hate this. So basically within this, ugh. Is it even worth it? It's not worth it. It's just not worth it right now. There's so many things to do that it's just not worth it. Okay, so that's just, sometimes you got to make the call. Yeah, sometimes you got to make the call. Andrew says something very important here. IEnumerator is just an off-putting word. Like, who wants to implement something called that? I totally agree, Andrew. I totally agree. I wish it was called delay function or something. So, yeah, what I was trying to do, guys, is have a delay and then it, and then it turns. But I really should. I really should. I could probably do it with the animation. Here's what I mean. I could probably go to the curves here and do something like this. See that, guys? there's potential to do something like this. And here, watch. It slowly starts. And then it'll even back up and do it. Right? I mean, a lot of you are probably thinking that's dumb, but watch. You'll see why that's cool. Thomas, can you play sounds in animations without requiring a trigger function? Yeah, you can actually do it by enabling the audio source or enabling the play variable. You can do it that way. So let's watch this. Here, let me show you why this might work. Isn't that cool? So that works. I mean, that's pretty cool. I don't like the backup. I mean, I thought it is cool, but there's a point where, you know, it's not cool anymore. Kind of like, you know, a really delicious Publix cake with, you know, cream cheese frosting. And I really want a Publix cake. It sounds so good. Yeah, we can do that. That works for me. You just got to make sure you implement it for every single one, okay? So I'm going to select every single one. And remember, guys, you don't have to save an animation. It just saves by default. You got to make sure it's flat, though. If it's not flat, you might have some issues. No, that's not true. It's fine if it's not flat perfectly. It'll eventually land on that point. So we're good. That looks good to me. Okay, what about this one here? That's good. What about this one? That's good. How about this one? That's good. So they're all smoothly rotating. This one, not so much. We need to make it straight, make it really flat here. Very good. Hector says, we don't have a Publix in Delaware. Then you need to get out of there, Hector. You need to move back to the south. Sorry, did I just dox you? I'm sorry. No, you doxed yourself. You're the one who said you're Delaware. Koyima says, leave Brandon's home state. Am I not allowed to laugh at that? Good. Okay, guys, now, this will work with everything, okay? So let's go ahead and prove it, all right? And by the way, I want to apply this to, let's make sure we apply everything, just to be absolutely sure. Oh, yeah, we need to apply everything. Look at all these changes. I'm glad we did this. We need to apply all these effing changes. Wowza. Good grief. What in the... Wait, what? Frickin' Unity. Why? It says... okay, why isn't this saving? Let's select it and double check. It's good. Okay, whatever. All right, so why are we doing this? Why are we saving everything? Because we're going to create some variants here. All right, guys? We're going to create some variants. Let's delete this one and just have one here, okay? What are we doing? We're creating variants that are user controlled, all right? This one we've already finished. This one we have not. Now, I don't like this name here. I'm going to call this clock object user, okay? This is a clock object default, and this is a clock object user, meaning the user can control it. We're going to create some folders here, though, okay? And we're going to call this, wait, what is this? These are old. Okay, we're going to create a new folder here. We're going to call it old. put those there. Now we have this folder called, and we're just going to call this, we're going to actually put these at the root. And this folder is actually going to be called, actually, let's put this here. Testing for enemies in the old. And then this is going to be called clock controlled. Controlled, Thomas. So these are controlled by the clock. And really, these are the root. We should call them defaults, okay? Because these are all variants, okay? What is that? Yeah, that's the user-controlled one, which is a variant of these, okay? So there's that folder here. Then by the way, it's super duper important that you're really super clean with your folders. Otherwise, you'll go crazy a week into your game's production. How many of you know the feeling? 1, I know the feeling. 2, I don't know the feeling. 1, again, the one in the chat means you know the feeling of like rushing through a project and it's really exciting and fun, and then you look at the code later and you look at the project structure and you're very confused. That's 1. Number 2 is I never have that problem. It doesn't bother me when things are messy. Okay, this one's going to be called user controlled. Okay? And you know, it kind of makes sense that we would put them inside a folder like this. So basically you have these core ones here, and then we have the user-controlled ones there. See? All right. So we have a lot of ones. Yeah. The code has me scared, homie, says Funky. All right. So guys, now, so that's good. This one's done. This one here. So I don't even know if I need to keep using this one. So I'm just going to hit apply all and then delete. Now, what do we need to do to make this controlled by the switch? Well, anyone who's been making games for a long time, and I'm just sort of tooting my own horn here. I've been making games for 15 years. So I've learned how important it is to make it so that it's super duper easy to create variations of things. Okay. So this one is controlled by the core clock. So every 5 seconds it will move. All I got to do to change it is set it to controlled by user. And then I need to change the mesh stripes to blue. That's it. Okay. And then we're just going to call it clock. What is it called? Clock user. User controlled bridge. Ah, yes. Yeah, that's fine. We can just name it that. User controlled block. And drag that into user controlled. It's a prefab variant, right? Very, very good. Remember, we have this little lever here. I'm going to make sure I hit apply all, but you want to make sure that it's a different lever. It is, good. So it's a variant of the original lever. I'm going to click apply here. And now I have that one we don't need anymore either. So this one right here is going to be dragged into here. Good. We can also shift the camera. Look how easy it is to shift the camera, guys. When I used to watch, when I used to play video games or just watch them. I don't play video games at all anymore. I should, but I don't. I used to always think, how do they shift the camera? That's so cool. Well, all you got to do is move the scene view around, find a good position. And then when I've selected the gate camera, this is a child of the lever, I press Control-Shift-F,